Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 40 of my journey through Group Self-Found Keepers of the Flame League. This will be the last episode of the GSF. The goal is to grind out a bunch of challenges today. I want to at least get to 36. That means I got to complete 8 challenges. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll get that knocked out. I'll probably switch to the Cyclone build. But before we get to that, I'm going to dive into the changes that are coming with the Phrecia event coming up in just a couple days now. Legacy of Phrecia. That starts on the 29th, goes to February 19th, so 3 weeks. Which isn't a long time for an event, but it should be a good time to kill time until 3.28. We'll probably be getting the announcements for that around the time that this ends. And when this was announced, they announced that they're going to make balance changes to the Ascendancies, which they have also just put out today. And before we get into the meat of this, I have some fantastic news that has just come about in the last couple of days. We got a letter in the mail that said fiber internet is coming to my area. We've actually seen around the neighborhood that they have already begun marking utilities in the ground, so they're planning to get that worked in here. They estimated in that letter 4 to 6 months, but when that happens, I will finally be able to live stream. And I've been looking forward to that for many years now at this point. I am very excited to have that on the horizon. Very, very good news. And also remember that this channel runs on likes and subscribers from viewers like you. So what is Legacy of Phrecia? There are 19 different Ascendancy classes. Every Ascendancy class is being replaced with a different one. And in the endgame, there's no Atlas passive tree. There is instead a bank of idols that you can farm and place in there to add mods to your maps. I personally am not the biggest fan of idols. Playing in solo self-found, it is really hard to get an optimized set of idols together. Speaking from experience, as I played a lot in the previous Phrecia event. So I think I am going to play in hardcore trade league rather than normal trade league, mostly because if I'm going to be in a larger trade league, I want it to be more interesting. I think hardcore would make that a lot of fun, and it would solve some of the issue with idols as we'd be able to trade them around to other people. And there really isn't enough time in this event for me to really want to go after crazy min-max strats in a softcore trade league. And then also, there's the possibility that if my character dies, I have an out. I can decide, I had my fun with the event and I can be done and step back and then go back to playing Expedition 33 because that game is incredible. I'm in the in-game cleanup phase of that and I won't get it all finished before this event launches, so I'm going to want to go back and finish that. But there are some new things going on with this Phrecia event. Every area will have a random number of map modifiers, with this number scaling up with area level, removing a lot of the map mods that Brick builds, such as Reflect. Campaign bosses, as well as some pinnacles, have also developed a few new mechanics for you to overcome. All unique monsters will also enrage on low life. So, we also did not get a gauntlet this league, so this is probably the closest thing I can get to a gauntlet event. And then, by reaching levels 50 and 90, you will automatically receive a third Edict mystery box. And if you already own all the contents of it, you'll get an Atlantis mystery box instead. Cool stuff. Alright, and then here, they didn't announce it officially before, but there are all 4 of the base league types to play in. And here are the changes to each of the Ascendancies. There's quite a bunch of them. It's like every single Ascendancy has changed. Some buffs, some nerfs. Blind Prophet didn't really change much, but that's a nerf. Harbinger changes, Herald lots of changes, Bog Shaman changes, Gambler, Paladin, Aristocrat, Architect of Chaos, Polytheist, Puppeteer, and Scavanger. And then also listed here is the map mods that cannot show up, being Reflect, Ground Effect modifiers, Shocked or Burning Ground for functional reasons. Less recovery rate, no regen, leech immunity, twinned bosses, monster ailment avoidance. I assume that means the poison, impale, bleed, not just elemental ailments. Reduced aura effect, less AoE, reduced flash charges gained, less evasion, less armor, reduced block chance. Buffs on players expire faster and players have reduced accuracy. So that really kind of leaves monster life, resistances, damage. Damage is extra. It's only physical damage is extra in PoE. Minus max is not listed here. So that's one that could get you playing in hardcore. Multi-proj is also not listed here. So there can be some scary combinations of things. And I'm going to pull up POB here, get a new one. Down here at the bottom, version 3.27, I'm going to go to 3.26 alternate. Invert this. This is going to have all of the Phrecia ascendancies. I think how I'll do this, I'll move this to my other window. Look at this in POB, and just go through them one by one, go through the changes. I have experience with a few of these. Daughter of Oshabi gives you shrines, lesser shrines when you kill an enemy, automatically gain random shrine buffs, which the duration can be stacked with idols, and this gets insane. I did this last league, or in Settlers. I don't know that I really mess with it in Mercenaries. You can get bonuses from not having socketed gems and gear, attack damage per evasion rating, can see rare and unique enemies on the minimap, inflict grasping vine on hits, all damage inflicts poison against enemies affected by at least 5 grasping vines, and then there's illuminating wisps, give you 2 more sacred wisps for wand skills, and spell slinging, which has a bunch of cooldown recovery right there. The changes here, spell slinging is now separated from its preceding node, illuminating wisps. So these 2 nodes will connect to the center, I'm guessing, if you wanted to go into spell slinging. Oath of the Magi, the elemental resistance is now 80, the max life is now 40%. So buffs there. Forest Tracking now gives 3% attack damage per 450 of evasion rating. So that's a big buff to this. Woodland Shrines now has 50% increased effective shrine buffs on you. That's probably in addition to the lesser shrines, which is crazy. Innate Blessing gives a shrine buff every 8 seconds instead of 10. Also insane. And then Roots of the Grove now has 15% chance to inflict additional poison on the same target when you inflict poison. So a chance to inflict multiple poisons in here. Very cool. Very powerful ascendancy there. The shrine buffs with the idols can do a lot. You can pretty much stack enough shrine duration with those that you can really stack up a bunch of extra shrine buffs for free without having to get any shrines, and you get all that shrine effect and you be res capped. Tons of extra defenses from the impenetrable shrine, so you could use that to scale up way more evasion rating. Good stuff. I think I did Flicker Strike with this setup last time. You get a diamond shrine, 100% crit chance. Good stuff. Whisperer. Int provides no bonus to max mana per dexterity, increased mana cost of skills. Attack skills have added lightning damage equal to now 6% of your max mana and 100% increased mana cost of skills. Don't Panic Yet has 100% of fizz damage is taken from mana before life and now is getting 20% of damage taken recouped as mana. Wait a little, gain 10 rage after spending a total of 200 mana. Breathe Deep now has mana flask effects are not removed when unreserved mana is filled, and mana flask effects do not queue. It no longer has increased mana recovery from flasks, but non-instant mana recovery from flasks is also recovered as life. That's very cool. Very unique. Very cool. There is more. Minimum frenzy and power charges and +1 max. Not a Word now has you cannot be blinded and no longer has 100% increased stealth. Still has the blind effect and you blind enemies on hit. Increases and reductions to spell damage apply to attacks at 150% of their value. And projectiles from attacks fork. Projectiles from attacks can fork 1 additional time. Lots of possibilities in here. Mana Forged Arrows was really popular to use with that ascendancy the last time we had a Phrecia of it. I did not build around it myself though, so I'm not super sure exactly how that would all work, but cool stuff there. Wildspeaker, Feathered Scales. now grants level 35 Aspect of the Avian. Aspect of the Avian has no reservation. And then you can get increased Aspect of the Avian buff effects and give them to nearby allies. Flash of Teeth will now give a level 35 Aspect of the Cat skill with no reservation. And behind that, you can gain up to maximum number of Frenzy and Power charges when you gain Cat's Stealth. Very similar to a Feral's Fur. You can just get that on your Ascendancy without having the chest piece. Primal Instinct is being changed to have minus 10% to the amount of suppressed spell damage prevented, with a 100% chance to suppress spell damage. Spell suppression was changed in the Keepers of the Flame League to only prevent 40% of damage, so that would drop you to 30% suppressed spell damage prevented, but you get that all right there. Great Wolf's Call now has 50% increased effective Tailwind on you. You and nearby allies have Tailwind, and you and nearby party members share Power, Frenzy, and Endurance charges with each other. Boon of the First Ones, on killing a rare monster, gain one of its modifiers for 20 seconds. Nearby enemies killed by anyone count as being killed by you instead. Scourge of the Wilds now has plus 100 to Dexterity, and minions deal increased damage per 5 Dexterity. Increases and reductions to minion damage also affect you at 150% their value. And lastly here is trigger level 20 summon Spectral Wolf on critical strikes. So you can make a kind of minion build with that. Aspect of the Avian stuff, aspect of the cat stuff. Lots of possibilities to make builds there. And then you can make a dex stacker that gives you a bunch of damage by stacking minion damage. Nifty. Antiquarian. This Ascendancy is split up into 3 different sections. Each of these have like different exhibit items on them. Lionized Hair. Your hits can't be evaded, 50% reduced dexterity. Behind that is Lionized Shield. Reduced physical damage taken from attack or projectile attacks. And this is being changed to gain 60% chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value. The other side is Lionized Bow that gives you Far Shot, dealing less damage to targets close to you, more damage to targets the further the projectile travels. Then we have Goliath Knuckle. You have no intelligence, and this is being changed to give you 200 to strength. Behind here is increased skill effect duration per 10 strength. And on the other side, Turtle Shell, giving you increased stun and block recovery, and now has regenerate 8% of life over 1 second when stunned. And then the other part of this is with Ward. Gain Ward instead of 50% of armor and evasion rating from equipped body armor. Behind that, you have Starlight Reflector, faster restoration of Ward, and 100% increased global defenses. And then Runic Tablet, which will now have gain adrenaline for 20 seconds when Ward breaks. Cool stuff there. I've not played with this Ascendancy, but I think you could do a lot of cool stuff with Toxic Rain, strength stacking to get this skill effect duration. That's probably what I would do, messing with this, and then maybe toy with Ward stuff on top of that. That could be a lot of fun. Next up is Behemoth. Behemoth is being changed quite a bit here. I played Behemoth last Phrecia event and I leveled it to 100. This gives you increased character size, spell skills deal no damage, your spell skills are disabled is being removed, and it now has your aura skills are disabled, so you can still use spells, and it should still have your spell skills deal no damage, but it will allow you to use guard skills, which you weren't able to before. That was probably my biggest complaint there. Melee hits count as rampage kills. You have rampage, and then also being added here, your war cries are disabled. Now, war cries is like the only thing that you could do with this that was not an attack before, and having your aura skills disabled kind of forces you into blood magic, give you a bunch more life. Pretty nice. But with aura skills being disabled, you can still no longer use banner skills. What I did with this was big ground slam of earth shaking using a light poacher to stack a bunch of physical damage as extra damage of each element per spirit charge, but you couldn't use spirit burst because your spells were disabled. But now your spells aren't disabled, so you can't pull off the same strategy. And then I had Intimidating Cry, Enduring Cry, Seismic Cry, Vengeful Cry, Infernal Cry, and Rallying Cry. Stacking up tons of war cries to get overexertion, to actually get damage out with it. I think taking away the war cries, like what is left for you? You can now have guard skills. Like, I felt like I should have been able to use, at the very least, an Immortal Call. And I wanted to be able to use banner skills, but like taking away the war cries, like how are you going to scale the damage? And then taking away the Light Poacher's scaling that was giving me, with each Abyss Jewel affecting me, basically 15% damage is extra elemental. And there's 5 just on the character there. Then I had another one on the tree here, one right here, one down here. So that's 8 times 15. So I was getting 120% damage as extra elemental from this helmet. But now, if you were playing it, you would expend your spirit charges. They wouldn't just stack up. And the AoE on this was just insane as well. But my thoughts on this, like removing the war cries, this is just about more dead in the water than it was before, because you get no auras, you get no banners, you can't do any stance swapping things with Flesh and Stone. I guess you wouldn't be able to use Smite. Tempest Shield does not have an aura tag. Okay, this is interesting. If you wanted to actually reserve the mana, you could use Tempest Shield, and you could also use Arctic Armor. That wasn't on the table before. You can use Heralds that you couldn't before. Oh, I guess you can use Blood and Sand, but you can't use Flesh and Stone. You can use Petrified Blood. Didn't do that before. So there are more things opened up, but yeah, I think it'd be cool to use the banners and the war cries, but still not have the auras. That's okay. I did my thing with it. Got that thing to level 100. Dire Rampart. Melee hits fortify, regenerate 0.2% of life per second per fortification. There's so much life regen. Behind that, attack speed per fortification and 10 max fortification. So you can get a bunch of defense from that. The other side here, 15 max rage. Chance you would gain rage on hit to gain max rage. And then Fueled by Hate no longer has 50% increased rage cost of skills. Vol attack skills, you use your self-cost rage instead of requiring souls. You cannot gain rage during soul gain prevention. Then there's Final Blow. Now has 50% to crit multi with unarmed melee attacks and gives you plus 10% base crit chance, and your crit chance is lucky while on low life. Mental Conditioning now gives 8 mana per 4 strength, and Purpose of Power, which is 80% of max mana is converted to twice that much armor. Armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits behind it, and there is Steel-Willed. Attack damage per 450 armor, chance to defend with double your armor for each time you've been hit by an enemy recently up to 30%. So a lot of defensive stuff, but you have to give up on like the damage things with the rage. The Fortify life regen is insane. The max fortification attack speed. I feel like you're kind of almost forced into all this. I almost feel like this Ascendancy should be like some of the new PoE2 ones that, like, if you ascend in this, you start with Rampager, and then you get 4 Ascendancy nodes beyond it. But that is the Behemoth. Ancestral Commander was the strongest, I think, Ascendancy, at least defensively. You could get 3 max endurance charges. This is being changed to 2. You could recover missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy. This is being dropped to 10% from the 15. Call of the Ancestors now has 200% increased Warcry speed, but reduced Warcry cooldown recovery rate, so it's kind of flipping those. Behind that, you have your Warcry's open chests, and nearby corpses explode when you Warcry, dealing 12% of their life as physical damage. Toughened Skin. Action speed cannot be modified to below base value. Movement speed cannot be modified to below base value, and armor from equipped body armor is doubled. We've got Ancestral Reach. Now has non-vol strike skills target 2 additional nearby enemies instead of 1, and strike skills which target additional enemies can do so from 50% further away. Very cool. Ancestral Reach has swapped location with Ancestral Echo, which says strike skills also target the previous location they were used. So now this is a 4-point ascendancy to get the Ancestral Reach. Born Under Fire, nearby enemies convert 50% of their physical damage to fire. Really cool. Forest of Ancestors. +1 max number of summoned totems. 20% damage from hits taken from your nearest totem's life before you. And then there's this Ancestral Spirit. Lets you summon different spirits. Comb's leadership, granted by Spirit of Comb, now has buff causes 25% damage from hits taken from your next totem's life before you, up from 15%, and has 10% increased buff effect per allocated Namahu tattoo, which was 20%. These are all complicated. And then Utula's leadership is getting a change, which makes 50% of leech instant which was 25%, and now has 10% increased buff effect per allocated Kitava tattoo, previously 20%. And all these have different conditions. Spirit of Comb is summoned when a totem dies while a unique enemy is in your presence. Kahuturua, when you take a crit from a unique enemy, which gives you a buff which lets a percentage of your armor protect against all damage types. Spirit of Utula is when you take a savage hit from a unique enemy. When you block damage from a unique enemy, you get a buff which recovers life, mana, and energy shield when you block. And Spirit of Rakyata, on critical strike against a marked unique enemy, grants you a buff which prevents your action speed from being lowered. Strange stuff in there, but still a very strong Ascendancy. Max endurance charges, allowing you to recover life before being hit. Really cool strike skill stuff. Lots of defensive stuff. Warcry's open chests is crazy. A lot of fun there. Shadow Surfcaster. The small passives which cause monsters to flee. Increased rarity of fish caught is now also getting 4% cast speed on all the small nodes. Ghost of the Deep. You're touched by a tormented illegal fisherman, granting you now 23% damage, 23% attack speed, 23% cast speed, and 23% movement speed. Sea Legs now gives 40% cold and lightning res. Crit chance is increased by overcapped lightning res. Evasion rating increased by overcapped cold res. Screaming Reels has 60% more cast speed while holding a fishing rod, up from 50. Baited Breath has all hits or critical strikes while holding a fishing rod. Stormy Seas, 100% of your lightning damage converted to cold. Your cold damage can shock. Brine Bound, 50% chance to freeze enemies for 1 second when they hit you. Enemies you freeze remain frozen for at least 1 second, and now has cannot be frozen. Within the Tempest, enemies you kill are shocked. Shocks you inflict spread to other enemies within 1.5 meters. Glacial Wave, enemies chilled by your hits lessen their damage dealt by half of chill effect. Enemies chilled by your hits have damage taken increased by chill effect. And Changing Seasons, all damage taken from hits can chill you. The effect of chill on you is reversed. Lots of cool stuff in there. I've not played with this one. Servant of Arakaali. You can have a free level 30 aspect of the spider, which will periodically apply spider's webs to nearby enemies. Each spider web on an enemy increases the damage they take. Silk Dancer now causes enemies affected by your spider webs to deal 20% reduced damage and have minus 20 to all resistances, which includes chaos. Fatal Bite now has gain 40% of physical damage as extra chaos while at max power charges, and chance to gain power charge on hitting an enemy affected by a spider's web. You can also get a level 15 Envy with no reservation here. Grants level 20 Penance Mark. Skin Crawlers. Minions have 50% chance to poison enemies on hit. And minions have a 10% chance to inflict withered. That's being changed to a 20% chance to inflict withered on hit. This is just like a GG poison SRS Ascendancy. That's what I did with this, taking the Envy aspect of the spider, Silk Dance, and Skin Crawlers. But then there's Broodguard, which triggers level 20 raised spiders on kill. Each raised spider grants you increased attack speed and increased damage with poison. Neurotoxin. Minions have plus 5% to crit multi per wither debuff on enemy. Minions base attack crit chance is equal to the crit chance of your main hand weapon. And another change, Weaver's Contrition gives 50% increased effect of your marks. Very cool Ascendancy there. Then there's the Blind Prophet, which forces you to take Sightless. You are blind, and base critical strike chance for attacks with weapons is 9%. That is being changed to 9%. You can get increased life and mana per Abyss Jewel affecting you. Trigger Shade Form when hit with increased skill effect duration. Chance to gain Elusive on crit. Elusive is removed at 50% effect. Non-aura curses you inflict are not removed from dying enemies. Enemies near corpses affected by your curses are blinded. Enemies killed near corpses affected by your curses explode, dealing 5% of life as physical. Your curse limit is equal to max power charges. Projectiles have 50% chance to return to you and are fired in random directions. And skills fire 2 additional projectiles in here. The only change to this Ascendancy is the base crit for attacks with weapons is 9%. Onto the witch stuff. Harbinger. The small passives that give ES recharge rate and mana regen have 15% mana regen rate. instead of the 10 shown here. And there are 3 nodes here that give visiting Harbingers. Harbinger of the Arcane will give you Arcane Surge and a buff that grants chance to shock and lightning penetration. There is a visiting Harbinger of Focus. While you are channeling, the minion will occasionally cast a buff on you that reduces the damage you take, makes you avoid all stuns and elemental ailments, and prevents curses affecting you. Then there's the Harbinger of Time, which will occasionally create an aura that increases the action speed of you and all allies near you. All of these visiting Harbinger Ascendancy nodes are being swapped with their preceding nodes. So Harbinger of Time is going here, and the cooldown recovery rate is moving to the outside. Harbinger of Focus moving in here. Buffs expire slower, debuffs expire faster, swap to the outside. And this will now have debuffs on you expire 100% faster. The cooldown recovery rates being changed to 55%. And then increased ES recovery rate and mana recovery rate is being buffed up to 50% each. There are other nodes here. 30% of non-chaos damage taken bypasses energy shield. Gain 20% max mana as ES and 10% max life as ES. And increase AoE of hex skills. Tip Chains has no reservation if cast as an aura. Neither of these two are changing, but big swap up here. I toyed around with this a little bit. What I did with the Harbinger Ascendancy was also very odd and used the Harbinger quiver. But moving on to Herald. This Ascendancy forces you into Coming Calamity. Your aura skills are disabled and increased mana reservation efficiency of Herald skills, 200%. And the small nodes are gaining minions deal 10% increased damage while you are affected by a Herald. Nothing is changing from Coming Calamity. But then, following that up, you're forced into a Herald specialty. Future Nostalgia for Herald of Agony is getting 150% increased buff effect and 80% chaos res while affected by Herald of Agony. Future Guilt is giving 150% increased buff effect and additional physical damage while affected by Herald of Purity. Future Regret, 150% buff effect and 6 max lightning res instead of 5. Future Anguish, 150% and plus 6. And Future Fear, also 150% and plus 6 to cold res. Damnation is being changed. For each element you've been hit by damage of recently, 25% reduced damage taken of that element, and gives 25% of fire, cold, and lightning damage recoup his life. So all the 20s are now 25% on Damnation. Retribution now has 100% chance to gain Elemental Conflux for 4 seconds when you kill an enemy, which causes all damage from hits will cause Chill, Shock, and Ignite, as well as 50% increased effect of non-damaging ailments and 20% fire damage over time multiplier on Retribution. Persecution now will give 10% to critical strike chance of Herald skills, as well as giving Herald skills extra AoE. There's Scourge, plus 2 maximum number of Sentinels of Purity, 25 max virulence, and minions deal increased damage while you're affected by a Herald, and plus 3 level of all Herald skill gems with Apocalypse. Neither of those have changed any. I think a Herald of Agony build was pretty popular with this, though I did not play around with it. That's something I might start with. Then there's the Bog Shaman. Bog Shaman is kind of crazy. Small nodes give chaos res and increased effective curses. The curse effect is being removed and now will give 4% increased max life with the chaos res. A lot of things here have some unique upsides but big downsides. Sanguine Power removes all energy shield, gain max life instead of max ES from equipped armor items, and -3 max life per level. Venom Drinker has 100% chance to be poisoned, plus 5 all max res while poisoned. You cannot be poisoned while there are at least 5 poisons on you, and will now have 100% increased poison duration on you. Fell Fin, nearby enemies' chaos resistance is 0, no longer has chaos resistance is 0. So this one no longer has the downside, but reduces nearby enemies' chaos res to 0. Eerie Silence grants level 20 Pacify skill. Enemies pacified by you take 50% increased damage, up from the 30%. Vile Imprecations. Nearby enemies have malediction, reducing their damage dealt and increased damage taken, and increases the reservation efficiency of Curse Aura skills. Behind that is Rotten Core, which has your skills deal 100% of mana spent on upfront skill mana cost as physical damage, and skills gain added chaos damage equal to 60% of mana cost if mana cost is not higher than the maximum you could spend. So more added chaos damage there. Oh, Vile Imprecations no longer has the reservation efficiency of Curse Aura skills. It now has, you can apply additional curse. Nightblood skills gain a base life cost equal to 25% of base mana cost. Skills you cast yourself gain added physical damage equal to 80% life cost if life cost is not higher than the maximum you could spend. Then there's Toad Pact, which now has minus 40 to all elemental resistances, 75% increased projectile speed, 75% increased AoE, and 75% increased skill effect duration. And then behind that, lose 5% of life per second if you have been hit recently, and 40% more damage over time. Still a very weird Ascendancy, but people have made lots of cool stuff with the Bog Shaman. I have not played with that one myself. Down to Duelist, the Gambler. Small nodes are being changed to grant 3% chance to block attack damage and keep the item rarity. No more evasion rating there. So there's attack, block, and rarity on the small Ascendancy nodes. Growing Accumulator now has 40% chance to deal triple damage, deal 30% less damage, but no longer has 30% chance to deal double damage. Deal 30% less damage, 40% chance to deal triple damage is what that would be. Behind that, your crit chance is lucky, damage with hits is unlucky. Risky Exploit has minus 20 to all LE res and 50% chance for LE res to count as being 90% against enemy hits. And then behind that, Reversed Odds. Hits have a 50% chance to treat enemy monster LE-res values as inverted. So there's a chance to raise it up to, their resistance is up to 90%, and then a chance to flip it to a negative 90. Overly Confident is being changed to give damage of enemies hitting you is unlucky. You no longer have to be on low life. And then behind that, you can choose heads or tails. Heads makes your spell block chance lucky and attack block unlucky, while giving +3 to maximum spell block. And then tails makes spell block unlucky, attack block lucky, and gives +3 max chance to block attack damage. The Gambler. Oh, I forgot risk aversion. This one is being changed to a 66% chance to avoid elemental ailments and 66% chance to avoid being stunned. Very good node there. Paladin lets you pick a level 40 discipline skill, level 30 determination, or level 30 grace. You can only pick one of these auras. Anointed Champion, you have consecrated ground around you while stationary and it lingers for 4 seconds, and 50% increased effect of consecrated ground you create is being added. Light of Divinity, nearby enemies take 25% increased elemental damage. Elemental Valiance, chance to trigger level 20 summon elemental relic, same as what the Guardian does. Bring the Battle, Warcries have infinite power, enemies taunted by you take 20% increased damage. Enemies taunted by you deal 20% less damage with hits and ailments against other targets. Field Medicine, magic utility flasks applied to you have 40% increased effects. Non-unique utility flasks you use apply to linked targets. This is crazy for Mage Blood, as you get the increased effect of magic flasks, and then you can apply the buffs you're getting from your flasks to another player with a link. Deep Connections give +5 to all link skill gems. Lose no experience when you die because a link target died, and link skills can target damageable minions. Is now being added to that. Last thing here, curses are inflicted on you instead of linked targets. Increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills while you have a linked target. So big Aurabot stuff here, but with a little bit of the Templar stuff on Paladin as well. And then lastly is the Aristocrat. You're forced into Inherited Fortune, which grants 5 passive skill points. The small nodes grant 1. Family Heirlooms has +1 level of all skill gems, and now has items and gems have 25% reduced attribute requirements. Gemline Cap now gives +4 to level of all non-exceptional support gems, which means no leveling up Empower, Enlighten, Enhance with this Ascendancy node. Centerpiece now gives 20% quality of all skill gems, up from the 15. Then there's Private Tuition, which you cannot be shocked if int is higher than strength. Illicit Gains cannot be ignited if strength is higher than dex. Or Fancy Foil cannot be frozen if dex is higher than intelligence. And all of these give 40% of their respected attribute, intelligence, strength, and dexterity. Then Dreadful Attitude now has 8% increased damage per 5 of your lowest attribute, and now also has items and gems have 50% increased attribute requirements. Previously, 25% reduced. So this is increasing your attribute requirements for items and gems. Interesting. Never played with this one either. Never played with any of these. Moving up to the Templar, Architect of Chaos. Impure Blood, skills cost life instead of mana, and fixed a bug where Impure Blood did not display that it had corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Purely a descriptive change. Behind that is Hewn Flesh, skills reserve life instead of mana, 100% increased life reservation efficiency of skills. There's Glimpse of Chaos, increased max life for each corrupted item equipped, 12% increased energy shield for each corrupted item equipped, -2 to all resistances for each corrupted item equipped. And this is being buffed to have 10% increased max life and 15% increased energy shield. And still the -2. Those are the only changes to this Ascendancy. Depose Order, reduce soul gain prevention duration, and Vol skill critical strike chance up 286%. There's +3 level of all Vol skill gems, increased Vol skill effect duration, and Vol skills require reduced souls per use. Very cool for Vol Cold Snap, I'd say. Forbidden Secrets, Everlasting Sacrifice, and Shepherd of Souls. When you reach full energy shield, sacrifice all energy shield to give +5 all max res for 4 seconds. Vol non-aura skills have 80% less soul cost. Vol non-aura skills have 100% increased soul cost per Vol skill used in the past 8 seconds. And Dissolution removes all energy shield. Life that would be lost by taking damage is instead reserved until you take no damage to life for 1 second. Polytheist. Small nodes being changed to 5% light radius and 10% increased global defenses. And then these Ascendancy nodes are all devoted to different Ray class gods. Devout of Ralakesh gives +3 to minimum endurance, frenzy, and power charges, and now has corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. Behind that is Devout of Lunaris. Spells fire 2 additional projectiles. Nova spells cast at a targeted location instead of around you, and now has spell skills have 30% increased area of effect. Devout of Yugel now has Hex Reflection. Your hexes can affect hexproof enemies, immune to reflected damage, and now has unaffected by curses. That's cool. Devout of Aberrath gives Burning Hoofprints and triggers level 20 Aberrath's Fury. Now also has unaffected by Ignite, and level 20 Aberrath's Fury deals 100% more damage. Devout of Solaris. Nearby enemies are blinded. 100% increased critical strike chance against blinded enemies. Enemies blinded by you have 100% reduced critical strike chance. And now we'll have 10% reduced damage taken from blinded enemies. Devout of Garkon. 100% increased evasion rating while moving. Immune to burning, shocked, and chilled ground. Regenerate 4% of life per second while moving. 100% mana regen rate while moving. And now has unaffected by shock. Devout of Rislatha. Unchanged. 30% more maximum attack damage. Enemies you've hit recently have 100% reduced life regeneration rate. That's a cool one. Behind that, Devout of the Brine King. 10% max cold res, cannot be frozen, and now has cannot be chilled. And then lastly, there's the Devout of Gruthkul, which will now have 400 to maximum life. Now also has enemies that have hit you with an attack recently have 10% reduced attack speed. You get 8% life regen per second, and spell skills deal no damage. Your spells are disabled. So big downside to that one, but a lot of life and life regen. Then we have the Puppeteer, which has Hexbearer. You can apply additional curse. Hex is transferred to all enemies within 3 meters when hexed enemy dies. There is Marionettes. Weapons you animate create an additional copy. Animate Guardian deals 25% increased damage per animated weapon. Animated minions melee attacks deal splash damage to surrounding targets. Defenses of items attached to Animate Guardian also apply to animated weapons. Very cool note. Something I am intrigued to play around with myself, actually. Marination now has minions gain 30% of max life as extra max energy shield, and you will gain 20% of max life as extra ES. Only the minions are getting the buff there. Innervating Presence. Nearby enemy monsters have at least 20% of life reserved. Putrid Conscription. Your minions spread caustic ground on death, dealing now 40% of their maximum life as chaos damage per second. Rotting Might. Half of your strength is added to your minions and now has 40% increased strength. Feeding Frenzy. Minions' base attack critical strike chance is equal to the crit strike chance of your main hand weapon, and minions are aggressive. Then there's Graveyard Shift. For each nearby corpse, 1% increased movement speed. Raised Zombies does not require a corpse. Your raised zombies count as corpses, and now has 30% increased maximum number of raised zombies. This one could potentially change. There's a lot of people complaining about the raised zombies count as corpses, because if you use an offering skill, you will delete nearby zombies around it because they'll count as corpses, and enemies can detonate your zombies, kind of breaking the whole idea of big zombies stacking thing that would come from flesh puppets, which will now give +5 to level of all raised zombie gems and 50% increased raised zombie size. So if you keep giving your zombies more and more life, if they get detonated by an enemy or a strongbox, like, I don't know if that would kill you, but it would kill your zombies, and that's kind of a pain. But I think I'm still more interested in this animate weapon, animate guardian thing. That seems like it'd be fun to play around with. Then we got one left, the Scion Scavenger. This one is weird. First Ascendancy, you just get 2 passive skills. The next one, you get Scavenged Armor, which gives you a choice of 1 of 5 different armor, like unique armor effects. Stasis Prison. Cloak of Flame is being changed to 30% physical damage taken as fire instead of the 40. You got Fox Shade, Chavron's Wrappings, or Blunderbore. And then once you reach Merc Lab, you can get Scavenged Martial Weapon or Scavenged Caster Weapon. Another set of unique items. You can get the Fulcrum, Nicta's Lantern, Cerberus Limb, Midnight Bargain, which now has +3 maximum number of skeletons and +5 summoned raging spirits. Obliteration, Void Battery, now has 15% increased spell damage per power charge instead of 25. And then on the bottom, you got Sinvecta's Metal, gives you Rampage, Tahoa's Felling, Starforge, which now has 30% increased area of effect for attacks. Oro's Sacrifice now has 50% chance to ignite. Doomfletch now has 25% physical damage as extra of each element. And then there's Soul Taker here. And then with the last Ascendancy, you can get Scavenged Jewelry. You can get Tainted Pact, Zerfi's Heart, Death Rush, Leadership's Price, Dodre's Tongue, or Fury Valve. No changes to any of those. But Oro's Sacrifice, let's talk a lot about the possibility of Flicker Strike with this. Gaining Frenzy Charge if an attack ignites an enemy, now will have 50% chance to ignite. Culling Strike against burning enemies, but you can gain Frenzy Charges if an attack ignites an enemy. You can Flicker Strike with that. And that's all the Ascendancies with their changes. I don't know what I'm going to play. I might spin a wheel based on things I decide. I didn't want to like pick things before we got the changes. And I'm also going to play in hardcore, so that might push me towards different options. I don't know. But I am excited to play around with it for a bit and see what happens. I'm definitely not playing Behemoth without the War Cries. Absolutely not. And that took a lot longer to go through than I anticipated. Probably could be its own video, but I'm still going to work on these challenges. All right, here. Take the Mage Blood, take all these flasks, swap back to the Impale Cyclone, use all the new flasks I crafted up for the Forbidden Rite build, and let's see, 5 Blight maps, 60 waves of Simulacrum. Maybe that's what I do. I do have 4 Simulacrums. I think there are only 15 waves now, though, so that means I'd have to make it through all of this, but let's give it a shot. Yeah, so I'd have to full clear all of these. We'll see what happens. This build does not have spell suppression, so it's Spells could be a problem here. On the phobia though. Wave 4, no issue. Ooh, Kosas, and I died. That was wave 7. Not a great spot for a first death. Ow. Maybe it's multi-proj. Kosas died. Yeah, it looks like multi-proj. Gotta dump the inventory. You get so much random stuff doing these simulacrums. Wave 10. This is where the 100% delirious starts. And yep, things are getting tougher. Oh, they sure are. Oh my. I'm gonna get through 60. I might need more. If these kill me, at least. This one's not killing me yet. Oh, there is a Kosas. He's down here. Oh, come on. No, no, don't kill me. Don't. I almost got him. Oh, he moved. Come on. Die, please. Yes. Kosas down. 8 passive, 84 damage with two-handed weapons. Oh, it's so tanky. Oh my god. No. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm so slow. And that looks like Kosas. Ah! Oh boy. Oh, there's a Fizz or a rare in here too. No, no, no. Please die. Okay, 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 okay. No, no, it's stuck. Oh, that ground. You can't move. Slow nonsense is very bad for me. Oh, he is so tanky. Come on. Took out his energy shield pretty quick. I never got the Impale Pride Watcher's Eye for this. Made it through that. Got a darker half. Alright. Another round. Got my frenzy charges. Ooh. Just gonna try and focus up here. Got my adrenaline going on. Onslaught, okay. Good. Kosas. I don't think it was Kosas that killed me there. Okay. Frenzy charges built back up. There's so much stuff down here. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, 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 okay. Come on. Okay, another one down. Wave 13. Damage speed, multi-proj. Damage is fire, damage is chaos. Ah, I did. Okay, I made it through 12, which really isn't that bad with 3,500 life. Ah, also only 44 chaos res. That could also have something to do with it. I got an 84 jewel though. That's the things you're really looking for out of there other than voices. And I sold 5 things from my shop. Nifty. There's something wrong with this build too. I think I have cast 1 damage taken attached to my war banner. It keeps picking my banner up. No, or maybe I'm going outside the AoE of it. That's probably it. Mortal Hope. And I got a jewel. I wave 5. Split personality, int and energy shield. Okay, a decent combo, I think. Level 21 Molten Strike with no quality. Mortal Rage, another split personality. Armor and evasion. 83 2 passive chaos res. 8 passive minions, 84. GG. Level 21 slower projectiles. No! Last portal. Ooh. It's really just like only Kosas left. No, 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 no. Damn. Didn't make it through 12 that time. Go next. Megalomaniac. What we got? Battle. 20 life and 10% increased. Grand design. Brand damage, brand duration, brand attachment range, and prismatic heart. Elemental damage all res. Pretty generally useful. Not bad. Always Kosas. I have not seen an Omniphobia past round 5. 84, 6 passive trap and mind damage. Made it through wave 12. Hey, Omniphobia and Kosas. That's That's a thing that is happening. I'm gonna run away. Ooh. Oh, I don't want them on top of each other. I dropped the banner. Maybe I could just hold on and we're okay. Oh boy. I think I'm gonna make it. Okay, this is wave 13. Makes up for not making it to 12 last time. Mortal Grief. Wave 14. Monsters can remove flash charges. Really doesn't look that bad other than multi-proj. There's not a ton of extra added damage. Another double. Whoa, 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 whoa. I dropped my banner. Try and stay in it. Cool. Homophobia down. Good. If I can complete wave 15 here, I'll complete another challenge. Another Megalomaniac. What we got on this one? Ancestral Guidance. Totem action speed cannot be modified to below base value. Totem region. Trap and mind damage. Trap throwing speed. And Purity of Fire mana reservation efficiency. Rip on that one. Alright, what do we got here? 2 damages extra. Scorch. Oh, and it damages chaos. Speed, no extra life though. Just don't die. I still have several portals left as well, I think. Yeah, I got hit once. That hurt a lot. Yeah, this stuff actually dies. Ah! So do I. Yeah, I got 3 portals left. There's a chance. The first thing I should do should be Leap Slam. Okay, Omniphobia has spawned. Ow. Ooh. Drop the banner. Okay. Unless there's still a Kosis up in the top section. Oh, there is. Okay. Ah, did a decent damage to it. Still 2. Ah, get rid of the... Alright, can I get Kosis to move? Yes, I did. Good. Alright. Watch the bubbles. Ow. Banner. Please, 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 please. Yes. Hey? Yes, Bloodline Balloons, Simulacrum complete, and medium Chaos Dot. Alright, increased damage over time. It's not a dot multi. I'll click this. Bloodline Boons. Alright, yeah, so I knocked one of these off, and I have a King in the Mist stored up. I probably have a Feral as well. I'm gonna take the Bloodline. Not gonna use it, but it's a more fancy one. Got one more at the moment. How many splinters am I sitting on? 108. Oh man, I got the Orioth Bridge. This one's the worst. Though since I completed that one, I only need to make it to wave 11 on this one and the one I need to farm up. 84, 8 passive damage with 2-handed weapons. Another one. Wave 11 conquered. No, Coasts on the bridge with the Fizz rare. Yeah, this could be the end of this one. 2 portals. This is why this one sucks, because like there's really no good way in that. All of the others have areas where you can circle around. Okay, I moved the Kosis, but yeah, the rare came with. Nah, he got me. I did get the rare though. Alright, Tropical Islands. Atlas Passive Tree. Exarch Bestiary. Alright, clean this up. Drop the Bestiary. Increase stack size of Simulacrum Splinters. Then make it dissipate slower. Then I need Scarabs. Bring a Delirium Mirror. Delirium Unique Bosses is good. I want to bring Incursion. Magic Monster Incursions. And why not some extra Incursion monsters in the map? Should be fine. Ooh, what else do I throw in it? Some additional shrines. Or beyond. Why not beyond? Oh, I forgot all about the breach. That adds a lot to these. Oh wow, rituals in the map. Kosis. Drop a portal. Oh my god. Stuff's getting tanky down here. Ah. Man. I didn't make it to the end. Still. 171. Okay, that was a lot of simulacrum splinters. I'm fighting stuff without the delirium, it just all just kind of dies. Here I am saying I'm gonna play hardcore trade in Phrecia, and just like repeatedly die over and over fighting delirium stuff. How my day has gone thus far. I'll do okay with it though. Completely different mindset. I need 21 more splinters. Kosis with a fortification mission. Got him. Yay, speed shrine. Let's go. Now, can I survive this mess? No! Not a build made for, like, pushing this deep in delirium. Let's hit the breach! This'll make it all better. And there's some kind of soul eater just chilling. Yeah, this is a mess. But at least I have room to, like, move. Just slowly wear this nonsense down. Ah, no. Got stuck one little bit. I wonder if I'll get a full simulacrum from this one, though. I feel like I've gone deeper on this one than I did the last one. This delirium can go away, and then everything will just start dying. Oh, Varun! Hello. It's a wonderful spot to fight you. Ah! There's so many enemies! The Soul Eater is still there. Okay. Frame rate's improving. Got him. Alright, keep moving. Get the map boss. Maybe. Drop the banner. Incandescent invitation. 293. Very close. Alright. I need 11 waves. Nice. And we got Act 2. This is a good one. Another split personality, ES, and mana. This is the wave 11. I gotta beat this one and then challenge complete. Omniphobia, Soul Eater. Of course. Dead. 4 portals left. I guess, like, should it go badly, it's not like it'd be hard for me to get another simulacrum to complete a wave. Probably need to be more worried about the Soul Eater that's in here. It's still juiced up. And then the Omniphobia. Yeah. Omniphobia is going to die first. I got it? There we go. Legendary Leagues. Complete. And then I gotta keep throwing myself at this till I'm out of portals. Level 21 Vulnerability. Died on wave 14. Alright then, what next? I need to run Audience with the King. This will be very easy. Yep. Everything feels a bit easier after like deep delving or doing crazy delirious stuff. Alright, finish him. Drop that banner. He's dead. Bloodline Boons challenge complete. That is 30. Primal Thunderbird and an amulet. Alright. Chisel, Chaos Orb, Regal Orb, Exalted Shard. Exalted Shard. I don't have a shape or amulet. Got 2 rings though. Actually, let me look in here. There's an amulet, a belt, gloves, weapon, another weapon. I need chest, boots, helmet. There's a chest, so helmet and boots. That won't be too hard. It's not in here anymore. I think it's a stat mod, shaper, influence. No boots, and the only helmet does a Echoes of Creation. Alright. I can just run some of these maps and it'll be fine. You have the twins, so I don't need to find an Abyssal Lich. That'll be easy to knock out. I need to get a Doriani's Mechanarium. Yeah, I think I'm almost there. There's some boots. Chest piece, so I don't have to put my Twilight Regalia in there. Wait a second. Do I have a Shaper Exalt? Aha! Give me a non-fractured helmet. Here we go. Slap that on there. Need to use that anyways. Full set of Shaper gear. Exalted shards. Alright, it's the hardest part of that. There's a Regal Orb. Then I need a lower level map. Okay, let's see here. Unset ring, leather belt, two-handed weapon, chest, helmet, gloves, another ring. Pair of boots like an elk. Oh, there's a rare pair. I just need an amulet. At this point, I can just find any amulet. Full set of rare gear. Chaos Orb. That one's done. Okay, next. Czar map. Take out this boss. Sculptor's tools. Drops a gavel. Make this 20% quality. Any map. That enough? Yep. Chisel. Challenge complete. Okay, delve. I know there's plenty of them down here. This one cannot be taunted, so that sucks. I gotta deal with my garbage accuracy. Alright, drop the banner. Don't get hit by the ball. Ooh. There we go. Not out of this one. Here's another one. Another ring. Curiosity. There's the map. I don't care what boots I'm getting here. Hit this one. Another lightning one. This one, go red. I don't know what kind of abomination of boots I just made, but something. Yes, boots. With purity of fire and flat lightning. Unique. Staff. All 4 of these. There's a Vinctar square. And this is easy. Tedious. Ooh, spell damage. There we go. Got flask. Another challenge knocked off. Lightning pin and leech. I need to use exceptional ember. Scour this. Orb of remembrance. Give me attack block tattoo. Oh, it has to go on an allocated passive. There we go. Tattoo in. Then I can scour that. Use tailoring orb, sacred orb, and one more, orb of dominance. But it needs 2 influence modifiers. So chaos spam it till I get 2. Int and mana on kill. There we go. Orb of dominance. So now it's got +1 of socketed int gems. Another one down. 3 to go. The twins. Make sure this is on burning ground. Yep. And let's go twins. Alright, one dead. Like, I actually could have nuked him. That makes the other one much tougher. They'll normally, like, switch in and out. But he didn't get the burning ground all the way around the arena. There we go. 34 done. What do we get on the leadership's oh, I gotta get out of here first. -3, -3, +2. Rip. Gruesome grafts. 4 modifiers. Aegis. 4 mods. Done. Summoning. 4 mods. Done. Freezing. This one's got 4 mods. Alright. Squalling. Draining. Replicating. Challenge complete. Alright, Ubers. This is T17s. This one is also Ubers. Elder Slayers. Feared. Remembered. Screaming and Incandescent at 70 quant. That's rough. And that leaves cross-contamination. Complete an ore deposit encounter while affected by a tempest. Extra ore deposits. Get a map. Get 3 chances at corrupting tempest. Alright, tempest. Only 5 seconds. Where tempest? Come on. There's one. No? Okay. Affected by it. Then I opened it. 1 enemy left. Up these tempest. I don't want to show up. There's one. There we go. Got it that time. Beyond. Merging radius. Resurgence. Increased chance for unique. More portals. I need a single delirium orb. Beyond boss while delirious. 2120 SRS. Okay. Refund some stuff. First map didn't get it, so increase merging radius chance for boss. There, I got the boss. Okie dokie. There we go. Beyond boss while delirious. Capture a beast holding an essence. Bring Einhar. Additional imprisoned monsters. There we go. First essence. Capture it. Good. 36 challenges. That didn't take too long. The rest of these would take a while. I haven't built a character this league that could do Ubers. Really? Keeper of the Flame helmet. This one. Okay, sure. And it can have no purple beam or a purple beam. All right, I think that's where I will stop for today. And I'll be back to Path of Exile with the Phrecia event coming up. I had a lot of fun with the GSF. Kind of sucks that it ran a little short due to PoE 2 coming out in December, but I am sure the Phrecia event will be a good time. But with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button as it really helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss more videos from me. If you'd like to help support my channel, please consider using the super thanks, the heart icon just below the video, or by joining to become a member, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.